This is my potato plant now. Look how big it is. It has flowers. I want to show you the flowers. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Santiago, an artist living overseas, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how was my 2022 through my paintings. So let's go. If you see all of this is because I'm moving out. This video is quite different because I'm completely surrounded by boxes and all the mess of a moving out situation. So this is gonna be our environment for today's video. So what I want to do through this video is showing you all the ups and downs that an artist can face during a year, and also tell you my experience with exhibiting, because at the end of the video I'm gonna give you some big news, so stay till the end, alright? So this year was full of paintings, was full of art. My idea was making more paintings than the previous year. Roughly in 2021 I did like 53 paintings, mostly like one per week. Of course I didn't do like one per week regularly, I just did like a bunch of it sometimes, and sometimes I did nothing. And in this year was pretty much the same. I ended up with 74 paintings for this year, which is quite a lot. Well, for some people it might be a lot, for some people might be very little. For me it's like an achieved goal because it was more, way more than the previous year. And also I'm just counting like the paintings that I can actually display. I'm not taking in consideration murals or the illustrations I did in digital ways. So I think it's a pretty decent job. One of my goals for this year was building like a unifier concept, something that could pull all my different paintings and all my different styles together, because I have many styles and I think it happens to the most of the artists nowadays. You just don't get married with a particular style and go on with that for the rest of your life. That's not happening right now. But I wanted to include something in the paintings, help people realize, this is a painting by Santiago. I had this idea since the very beginning of the year, and I started working mostly in digital for this one, introducing elements on the painting that can lead the people to think that this is Santiago's, doesn't matter what style I'm working on. So I was struggling with this situation when I got this chance to make an exhibition in the CBD. The name is Coffee House Project. I thought like, well, yeah, this is a very good chance to start working on this unifier concept. I took some of the paintings that wasn't finished at the end of 2021. I finished them, and also I introduced these abstract elements like strokes, lines, shapes for make the paintings belong to a coherent body of work. It didn't end up that well, honestly, because the paintings since the very beginning were unrelated. It was weird. The outcome was pretty weird. I didn't even like how the paintings looked at the end, but well, it is experience, let's say. After that, I went through this process of sketching a lot, making a lot of doodles, trying to figure out about this unifier concept. But I got sick of it for a bit. I started working in animals. Animals are fun. Everybody knows animals are fun to draw. I wanted to go in this middle ground, not that accurate, not that cartoonish. I started taking like many references from other artists because one of my goals for 2022 also was like reading more, and I started gathering books about art and reading more books about art, and I found many references of how to paint animals and nature. So I took some references for the paintings I'm gonna show you right now. One of these is a snow tiger. I made this one. I tried to make it like an archetype instead of placing the animal into nature, like in its natural environment. I took the reference of the body structure from Tasha Levitska. It's a very nice illustration, you can see it here. Also for the face, I got inspired by Colombian masks. These masks are founded in the Atlantic coast, are more like a traditional thing. I want to show you this bear, it's very lovely, I really like it. I took as a reference this Edwin Lancer painting from 1864. So my idea was making the bear very fearful. You see, the most of the pictures we have nowadays about polar bears are like these lovely creatures that are threatened by climate change, but I also wanted to remind that this is a very powerful and wild animal. I also made a lot of tigers because it was the year of the tiger. You know, Lunar New Year, we celebrated here, so I made a lot of tigers. The one that I liked the most was this one, which is this pinkish background, rainy lady with the tiger. I got inspired by Hanmok bike. And yeah, I put like my tarot vibes on it. I really like this one. And then I started changing again because, you know, after 3 days of working in something, you get sick of it and you jump into a completely different thing. It happens to me a lot with art. Not just with art, but mostly with art. So I started focusing on these digital illustrations, and the inspiration was by indigenous background. Colombia was full of indigenous people before the Spanish era, let's say. One of the indigenous groups in the region I was born is the Muiscas, and they left a lot of cave art. Nobody knows the meaning of this. So I took these cave artist references for an alphabet. I made some changes in the spelling of words, in the structure, on how you write down each word. Yeah, I think with this Muisca alphabet, what I was trying to do was finding again. I was still looking for the unifying concept. My idea was placing this writing system in the background of all my paintings. But shortly after I got into this discussion about cultural appropriation, of course, this culture is already extinct. There is many people that believe themselves as Muiscas, but the ethnicity was completely vanished long ago. So I got into this trouble situation like, is this cultural appropriation? Do I belong to that place? Is this my culture? And if so, Is this what I want to represent with my art? Many questions. I think I would like to make a full video about these topics. Maybe when some of you guys jump and talk about this with me, I would like to have a conversation with many people about this topic. I think it's very interesting. As Latin Americans, it would be so good to address this topic by art, but that's for another video. So I just took these letters, this writing system as a reference for making more paintings. And one of these was the painting of Yojon and I, which is a very nice painting. I really like this one. In here you can find like everything. This painting is talking about my relationship with my partner, how we come from different cultures, how we use the language, how is our identity, how we connect with each other. And I started putting the handwriting in the background. Also, I kept using the little boxes, chat boxes. I still don't know how to say that. Of course, it needs to be fixed in some areas. I would like to make in this new year like a full series with this style and addressing this concept. But for now, the only paintings I have about this is this one and also a self-portrait that I'm showing you here right now somewhere. And then everything was so happy, everything was amazing, and suddenly winter hit. I produced very little, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4 paintings during the whole winter. The most of the paintings I was creating at that time were talking about urban loneliness. I really like to touch this topic. It's one of my favorites because it's more profound. I feel myself more comfortable while describing what I want to say through the painting when I'm talking about this. For example, the painting I'm showing you right now, which is me in the crowd, is talking about how people feel loneliness even while surrounded by a crowd, by many people. Also, this other one is talking about how you just feel down because it is what it is, even when you enjoy being by yourself. This one is talking about how you can feel completely alone when you are in touch with many people, like digitally, but at the end it doesn't matter, you still feel the same. Yeah, I'm aware of the mood of these paintings, and it's totally fine because winter finished and my mood was better and I started to produce a lot of digital illustration. At that time I wasn't very aware of artificial intelligence, so I was super committed to make these digital illustrations about robots, animals. Also, at that time I was writing a lot of stories for a podcast that I used to have, like spooky tales, but that's also a topic for another video. I didn't publish any of those, but I have many tales already. At that time I was so focused on social media, trying to publish at least once a week, trying to produce something like decent or call the attention of people. While I was working about all of this digital illustration, I started getting familiar with artificial intelligence. So I got this lack of motivation. I think all artists has experienced this feeling recently. So I just went back to oil painting and I started the portrait challenge, and I kept using the text boxes. And then when I finished it, I got like this anxiety feeling, like I was producing something good every day, so now I have to keep going. Push myself to make another challenge, which was the acrylic challenge that you probably saw on Instagram. If I haven't said anything about that, it is because I didn't really like the outcome. So I think what happened with the acrylic challenge was that I took it in a more relaxed way. I wanted to draw something, but I was already used to draw something daily, and I started to focus in other things of my daily life instead of focusing on what I was painting. Also, as I said in the video of the portrait challenge, I wanted to make things less related to reality. So I started playing with different elements that I don't regularly use in my artworks. What came out was just like experiments. I feel it in that way. It was, those 30 paintings are like a decent sketchbook, and I'm gonna take it as it is. There are some good ideas that I would like to work on more, make them become artworks in the future, but the most of it is nothing that I can say like, oh, look at this is amazing. Probably some of the best ones are like the dog, the bat, both chimeras. Both chimeras are good as a sketch, not as a finished piece of art. Everything has to be said. And then I started working in the last paintings of the year, which is the Lady of the Snails. I wanted to combine these two elements, like the portrait challenge and the acrylic challenge, like this kind of accurate portrait of a human with a background full of things that are more cartoonish, more relaxed, closer to a sketch. I'm making more of those then. I'm not showing you this one yet because it isn't finished and I want to make a video out of that. So at the beginning of the video, I was telling you how I was looking for this unifier concept, something that should be very strong, visible, and very obvious in all my paintings. But looking back of all the work I have done in this year, I have to say that I didn't find it, but I found something even better, which is my very own library of concepts, my very own visual language. And some of those are, for example, these bubbles. The other one is this indigenous writing that I put in the background of everything. So for the next year, what I want to do is make this library of concepts bigger and stronger. That's something that makes my art richer and more complex. So I'm very happy with the outcome of all this year. I didn't paint as much as I would like to, but I also painted a lot and more than the previous year, so I'm very happy with it. So I also said that at the end of the video I had something to tell you, and it is a very good news. I'm gonna make an exhibition of my portraits in No Vacancy, which is this very, very nice gallery in QV. So if you are in Melbourne between the 9th and the 14th of January, you are very welcome to go there. Come along, have a look, see if you like, leave your comments. Why not? If I have to think about all the paintings I did this year, I have to say that I'm more committed than before. I had more fun than before also. I made a lot of experiments. I also met a lot of people through art. So I'm very happy with everything that happened related to art in my life in this year. So I can't wait for the new year to come and see what's next is out there for me. And I think that's all for today's video. If you liked this content, subscribe, give it a like, all of those things. Make some comments. I would like to read in the comments what do you think about the video? If you want to see more content about specific topics, if you want me to talk about specific paintings or explain something else, please let me know. I'm more than happy to read your comments. I'm recording this in the very end of the year. I don't know where I'm publishing this video. I hope it's soon. So thank you guys for staying with me till the end, and Happy New Year! Vowels with double B. So guys, I have finally found how to say these weird boxes with text in English. It's bubbles. Okay, vowels.